Listen up. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the podcast participants, and not to any participant's employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. You know, for fun. So lighten up and enjoy. Oh, Stomping Jen.
I like this new view.
What new view? Why don't you tell our listeners?
I'm on the other side of the table.
And what are you looking at?
Just our art stuff.
I kind of like you just having to stare at a blank wall. But let's talk about this. What episode is this? What are we doing?
I have no idea what episode we're on.
This is our vacation spectacular, right?
Yay!
And we are going to talk all about the vacation we just took. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and you and Space Unicorn have been gone for a week. And so we're going to have some special guests to help us with our vacation spectacular. Right?
Yay.
And it's the aforementioned Space Unicorn, and also coming back is Ted. Everyone loves Ted, right?
I like how you say Ted, like Ted.
All right, well, without further ado, why don't we get to it? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The Soft Serve Podcast.
Creamy, delicious ideas without the creepy truck. Stomping Jen, Space Unicorn, and Ted is here again to talk about our vacation that we just took to the southwest. All right. Stomping Jen, we said hello to you. Let's say hello to our good friend, Space Unicorn. Hi, Space Unicorn.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing, I guess.
Just doing?
Yeah, just doing.
Okay. Ted, how you doing?
Doing pretty well. I think that song you just sung might top the Turkey in a Bucket song from last time I was on the podcast.
There was a turkey and a bucket song?
Turkey in a Bucket, yeah.
What?
I don't remember that at
You
all.
remember that? Really from the Thanksgiving special?
No, I don't.
You played the country music and sang about brining a turkey in a bucket.
Okay. Let's take Ted's word for that and not go back and try to find that. So, how's everyone doing? Space Unicorn, how are you?
You just asked me that question.
I did?
This is going
Yeah, you
really
did.
well.
Oh, all right. Well, let's tell everybody I had a migraine today, so my brain's a little scrambled. So, okay, you're doing good. Ted's doing good. Stomping Jen, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How-
You neglected to mention that it's also Father's Day.
Well, nobody knows when we're recording this, but since you mentioned it, okay, it's Father's Day.
Why the sad music?
Do you like Father's Day?
Yes.
Oh, okay then.
Who doesn't like, I mean, I guess if you don't like your father.
I thought you didn't want to celebrate it today.
What are you talking about? Are you saying we didn't celebrate you today?
I'm not saying that at all. I thought you didn't want to
What?
because I had a migraine.
You having a migraine put a crimp in all of our plans because you were not feeling well, but that has nothing to do with Father's Day.
Interesting. What do other people think? Space Unicorn, was today Father's Day? Please.
Yeah, it was Father's Day.
Closer to your microphone. I thought we went over this.
Yes.
Sit up straight and talk into your microphone.
Yes, it was Father's Day.
Okay. Well, thank you for celebrating with me. Ted, was today Father's Day?
Well, yes. I mean, that is an objectifiable question.
Okay. I'm just trying to go with this. Stomping Jen brought it up, so I'm just trying to make something out of this.
We celebrated you today, did we not?
Sure. Why don't you tell people about that?
Can one of the children of the father tell our listeners what we did for Father's Day?
Well, we woke up, we slept in, all right, specifically me and Space Unicorn.
So you slept in on Father's Day?
Listen, we're jet lagged from our wonderful vacation, which we'll talk about later. And so we then, what did we do then? I think me and Stomping Jen went to a farmer's market where one of the vendors where we usually receive like cookies and pastries wasn't there, so we had to go back home. And then,
all right, thank you, Ted. Space Unicorn, what did you want to say?
Ted actually missed an event that happened.
What event happened?
I'll let him tell that.
Ted,
but
what event happened?
If I missed it, then there's a slim chance of me knowing what it is. So do you want to say what you're thinking?
What did we get up and do? What did we do when we got up?
Well, we got dressed, we brushed our teeth. Yeah.
And we went downstairs too.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. You gotta just tell me.
Okay, so we got up and we woke ourselves up and we went downstairs to the office where we had hidden a care package for Sawtooth. So
I loved my care package. Thank you. It was all of my favorite things in there.
So
What was it? What was in there? Why don't you tell people?
well, there was sunblock, seltzer, Cliff Bars, specifically peanut butter crunch Cliff Bars, and peanut butter and jelly,
There was some other stuff in there, too.
as well as chocolate.
Yeah, there was chocolate. Yay.
A great care package. And don't forget the bucket. There was a green bucket. I could never have too many buckets around here.
Don't forget, green is Sawtooth's just favorite color.
I actually hate green, but I won't hold it against you. All right, that was Father's Day. Stomping Jen, anything else you want to add about Father's Day before we talk about our vacation?
So Space Unicorn is raising.
Please, Space Unicorn, go ahead.
We forgot to mention that the room we're currently in is painted green.
Okay.
Then we
Thank
made
you.
a spectacular Father's Day meal.
Oh yeah, it was very, very good. We had salad with strawberries and feta, feta cheese, and then we also had fries and we
asparagus.
Yes, and asparagus. Thank you very much. I said salad. You don't really have to. All right, whatever. We also had for dessert a little pie we got. It was a banana cream pie. Banana is one of Sawtooth's favorite flavors, I'm relatively sure.
Very true. I love banana, and I love cream. I love pies. So when you combine
Banana
all of those
cream
things,
pie.
it makes a super thing that I love.
And Space Unicorn made a special treat for you also.
Oh, yes.
What did you make, Space Unicorn?
I made chocolate-covered strawberries.
Which she has forgot to mention were actually frozen by accident.
Yeah, you accidentally
and
froze
were
them.
rock
That's
hard.
okay.
I was not able to eat them because it would have broken my braces.
Hey, Space Unicorn, thank
She
you.
did a great job. Thank you.
Hitting this chime a lot.
Oh yeah, and also the banana cream pie was frozen because our refrigerator has two parts. There's a freezer and then a refrigerating part. All right, and then the refrigerating part freezes things, and the freezer part actually refrigerates things.
What
Kind of
else?
terrible. I mean, what else? What?
All right, enough about Father's Day. We appreciate you today and all days. Sawtooth.
Willie,
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, can you please turn off that horrible noise? But
The crickets. All right, let's.
Do you know
talk
what that
about-
horrible noise was?
yes,
Crickets.
crickets.
All right, so we're here to talk about our vacation, right?
Our vacation to the Southwest during a record-breaking heat wave.
It was really smart.
Let's back up a little bit because Ted and I left on this vacation
And it wasn't
Week
record-breaking.
a
heat
week earlier. Am I right, Ted?
Yes, it was, in fact, a week earlier.
We left on Monday, June
wave.
9th?
I don't know.
No, that's not right. Stop making stuff up, Stomping Jen. It was...
The 7th.
We left on... Let me get the dates straight here. I'm going to
You
open a
don't need
calendar.
to tell everybody exactly what day we went anywhere.
I'm kind of curious.
Well, the 11th was Friday.
Can't
Well,
open my calendar.
It was the 7th.
It was...
No, it was 100% the 7th.
We left on June 7th. Is that what you're saying?
This is very entertaining.
Anyways, Monday,
June 7th.
Monday, June 7th. Yep. So Ted and I flew out to Las Vegas.
Your
on
boy,
Monday.
your wings must be tired.
Ha. Very good. Very funny. All right. Anyway.
Speaking
and-
of Father's Day, that was one good dad joke you had there, Stomping Jen.
Okay. Thank you, Space Unicorn. So our adventure started. We got on our plane. It was JetBlue we were flying.
Don't
and
forget the delay.
almost immediately, some anti-masker started trouble before we even took off. And we had a really late flight, Ted and I. It left Eastern Standard Time, like 8 o'clock? Mm-hmm. We were already, as Ted just mentioned, under some kind of delay. And then some fucking jackass on the plane starts causing trouble and complaining about how he doesn't want to have to wear a mask because the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, requires everyone on a plane to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. So anyways, this guy starts flapping his fucking gums about his freedoms and he shouldn't have to wear a mask. And finally, the flight attendant is like, look, sir, we're going to throw your ass off this plane if you don't shut up.
Did she say that?
No.
Yeah, basically.
But they did have a loudspeaker announcement basically saying, hey guys, just keep your mask on for the duration of the flight. It's literally only 5 hours, and then you can go take your mask off and do whatever the heck you want.
Oh, they
wherever
said
we're
that?
landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did say that. And so just don't, basically they just said don't be a baby and wear a mask for the next 5 hours. But yeah, in summary, that's what happened.
Yeah, so he shut up. The plane got off. The plane got off the ground.
This caused an hour-long delay.
No, not this.
This didn't. There was a delay for another reason.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
plane gets off the ground. And I'll give it to JetBlue. They have a really awesome in-flight computer system where you can see your plane just about anywhere at all times over the country. They have free Wi-Fi. They have all of the things you could want. Had good snacks, good
What
drinks.
was the good snacks?
Chips. Right,
Yep.
Ted?
Yeah, there was chips, and they offered a selection of drinks. And I want to comment on their in-flight sort of entertainment system. They had a little like TV or like a tablet kind of in front of it or behind every seat, so you could just like play with it. And there was a game section, but it had the most standard games like Battleship, Tic-Tac-Toe, chess. So the actual map, the in-flight like map, was the most entertaining thing on the flight. I have to say, just watching the plane.
Yeah, it was good. So anyways, the flight itself was fine. Ted and I land in Las Vegas at some ungodly hour.
Right,
So
because
God, we landed at like 1 a.m. and didn't get back to the hotel.
it was like 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
right, not Vegas time.
No, so it was around
Vegas was hopping.
11:30. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, we'll just grab an Uber. But I haven't Ubered at an airport before. So I didn't realize there was an entire level of a parking garage dedicated to Ubering. And there were tons of people waiting for these Ubers. Like tons. And so many that when I pulled up the app to get an Uber, it was like, there are no drivers. So what I did, I very smartly went up 2 tiers. Mm-hmm. Instead of paying the $19, I paid like $50. And immediately an Uber came and got us. Because I'm not waiting around. It's like 1 in the fucking morning. And I'm not.
It was
Like
11:30.
we're both like super tired. There's all these people. So anyways, that worked.
Should have slept on the plane.
I can't sleep on planes.
Yeah, it was kind of
Should have
terrible.
slept
What
on
about
the
you, Space
plane.
Unicorn? Can you sleep on planes?
No. I think the only one here that can is Stomping Jen.
Stomping Jen can sleep anywhere. She has that superpower.
Yeah.
So Ted and I get into our Uber, and we went to the Travel Lodge. We told the Uber driver, take us to the Travel Lodge.
Which is where we had booked.
In Las Vegas. So we pull up, and he takes us to right on the main strip. And we get out of our Uber, and immediately we notice a pimp in the parking lot with his 2 prostitutes. So it's like, oh, this is fun. This is great for the kids. So we
Wholesome.
go. Yeah,
Real enriching experience.
So I'm like, to say to Ted, we got to get inside here, right? Before the pimp captures us. Right? And so we go inside, and the woman asks for our name and our reservation numbers. She's like, oh, honey, I'm sorry. This is the wrong Travel Lodge.
We're like, what? There's more?
She's like, there's 3 in Las Vegas.
4.
She's like, there's 4, and you went to the wrong one.
She goes, this is the bad Travel
Yeah,
Lodge.
so this is
Wait, she said that
Yes,
was the
she
bad
actually
one?
did.
Yeah. She goes, the good news is you have reservations at the good one. She said, so I run outside, our Uber is gone. And so I had to summons another Uber to come get us.
Did you have to pay $50?
We spent like
for this one?
$70 on
No,
Ubers that night.
this one was only $20. So the Uber took us to our good hotel. And then Ted and I Ubered to it, checked in, and went to sleep.
Great.
Right. So the next morning, which was Tuesday, Hogshank, my brother, met us, and we got our cars, right, and then we drove to Utah from Las
How
Vegas.
many cars did you drive?
2.
2.
Yep.
And you're forgetting about the lovely, lovely car rental.
What happened at the car rental?
Oh yeah, remember there was a guy who went on the .com.
.com.
Yeah.
The
So
.com.
there was an old guy in the line in front of us causing trouble. He hadn't made a reservation, and he was claiming that because he went on the .com that he should get a car.
.com.
Yeah, he's just causing trouble. This old guy.
I went on the .com.
We wasted like an hour, maybe
Yeah.
like 30 minutes, but yeah.
We ended up having to wait for this old guy 30 minutes who barged his way into the line. So we get our cars and we drive, was it like 5.5 hours to Utah
Yep.
to go hiking?
And we think Hogshank's in front of us because he like disappears.
Was he behind you?
No, he was in front of us, but Hogshank drives really fast. Much faster than I thought. And I had lectured him prior to all of this, saying, well, because I thought he drove slower than he does on the highway. I was like, I'll stay right behind you. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, I had trouble keeping up with him most of the time. So we get to Utah. We meet up there, and our first hike was at this place called Bryce Canyon.
And it's like 12, by the way.
What's like 12?
When we
12
get there,
PM?
I think it's important. What time was it?
That could not possibly have been 12
Because
p.m.
we got back just when the sun was setting.
You picked up the car at 9:30 in the morning.
All irrelevant details. So we get to Bryce Canyon, and we hiked. We did this really epic 8 to 10 mile hike on what's called the Fairyland Loop.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's some of the most incredible, amazing rock formations I've ever seen.
And now on this hike, I just want to point out there were some like relatively steep inclines with some like mildly steep drop offs, and Sawtooth has anxiety about that kind of stuff.
I have a Space Unicorn. You're staring at me. I have a crippling fear of falling from heights. Do you have that?
No.
Talking to the microphone.
No.
You don't.
This
No.
will become relevant later.
Yeah, this is a through line through much of my trip. So we're doing the hike. It was pretty uneventful. It was beautiful. And Ted and I are hiking along, and Hogshank, my brother, is behind us. And all of a sudden we hear him start screaming, "Tarantula! Tarantula! Tarantula!"
3 times, I'll never
Yeah.
forget it.
He goes, "Guys, get over here!" Right? And
It's a giant tarantula.
He's standing at a distance with it, poking it with his hiking stick, right? And then we walk up to him and we go, "That's a pine cone."
And it was. He goes, it's a furry pine cone.
Yeah.
Come on, it looked like a tarantula. So.
Did you pick it up?
Yeah, eventually we picked it up.
So we coined the term pine ranchula to describe this amazing phenomenon.
Yeah, pine ranchula.
Did you take a picture of the pine ranchula?
We did
we
not
didn't.
take a picture of the pine
So it
ranchula.
lives on forever in your memories.
Yeah.
It literally was just a pine cone.
Yeah, or space unicorn. We called it a tarantia cone.
So was this like on your bingo bucket list? Like your
Well, I was on Hogshanks.
your Southwest vacation bingo card?
Bryce Canyon.
No, seeing a tarantula. It
what's-
sounds like he was super excited
What's
about
funny?
seeing one.
Yeah, what's funny is our friend Legs, who's been on this podcast before, told us when he went to Bryce Canyon that he saw a bunch of tarantulas.
Yeah.
So I think Hogshank wasn't too out of line in thinking that we might see some tarantulas. So we finished the hike at sundown. And sundown is like 8:30 out there, right?
Well,
So
Which is worrying because the temperature drops rapidly.
yep. So we're walking to our car, right? We're trying to find our car after some misadventures with that, and all of a sudden Hogshank's phone rings, right? And it's the hotel. And from where
We're
we
going to Zion, by the way.
Yeah, we were next scheduled to drive to Zion National Park in Utah, which should have been an hour and a half away if you can drive through this mountain, right? And there's a tunnel that goes through this mountain. So Hogshank gets a call from the hotel saying, you better hurry up. The tunnel closes at 9:30.
10 o'clock.
No, the tunnel closed at 9:30. I remember looking at my...
10 o'clock.
It was
You're
10
wrong.
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
It was 10 o'clock.
It was 10 o'clock.
Anyways, whatever it was, there's absolutely no way that we could have made the drive.
At the time it was 8:30, and then this is actually great. We actually went down the wrong road to get to the parking lot, so we had to go through a giant like gopher field, like a
Gopher?
groundhog. Sorry,
We
They're
walked through.
groundhog
Yeah, we had to
tunnels
walk.
everywhere.
We had to walk through a groundhog field. But so, anyways, to make a very, very long story short, we still tried to go through the tunnel,
Yeah,
right?
It's the wrong move.
wrong.
And
choice.
I want you to remember, this is all in the middle of the desert,
At
and you
night.
have the spottiest cell phone connection. So we drive the hour and a half, hour or so to the tunnel, and it's closed.
You know, it's like 10:30 at the time.
And we're just sitting there, we're like, oh shit, they really did close this tunnel, and there's no way through it. And so we then had to drive. I'm going to leave out a lot of details here, Ted, because they're not important.
Yeah.
We then had to drive 5.5 hours through the desert at night. We had to go all the way around Zion National Park to get to our hotel. It was
Times are getting
It was
much
crazy.
longer.
I think a really good way to represent this is if you have a house, right, and then the front door is the tunnel to Zion. We basically had to go all the way around the back of the house, all just to get
Yep.
to the back door. We went through the back of Zion, basically.
Yeah, and the thing that surprised me the most was all of the crazy, weird shit that's happening in the desert in the middle of the night.
I wish I had seen all the crazy wild shit.
Stomping Jen, I told you there was a surprising number of people just out there in the middle of nowhere doing
Wandering.
stuff. We drove past what looked like a rave.
That's
That was
awesome.
wild.
So I remember we're driving. I'm like, going on almost no sleep because of the night before and hiking all.
two?
Yep, hiking all day. We're barreling through the desert at 90 miles an hour. Out in the distance, I see all this neon glowing,
It sounds
and I
awesome.
thought I was
You guys
hallucinating.
should have stopped and just gone out and partied all night.
And I thought I was
stabbed.
hallucinating.
Baby's first rave.
And then we come up upon this. There's like a couple of trailers encased in neon tubing.
That sounds amazing.
And there were a bunch of people like standing around. They looked like they were dancing. But we were going so fast. I didn't hear anything. And
I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I just kept on going.
And then, we saw just like a bunch of people out partying at random spots in the middle of the
That's
desert.
awesome.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and then at some point we were driving, and then this giant white rabbit leaps in front of our car.
Yeah, we
It
killed
was a
it.
white rabbit.
It was a hare. And it was like, hey, guys.
More preposterous by the
No.
minute.
And it actually yelled
Did
at
it
us.
say, hey, you forgot to go to the rave?
Yes.
All the action is back there.
Yeah, and then we killed it. We hit it.
You hit the poor rabbit?
Well, it
was an
stopped.
accident.
It stopped.
Remember what the dormouse said.
It stopped in the middle of the road
This
to
is
tell
the
us
saddest story
about the
ever.
rave, and we destroyed it.
You could have had a great
I heard
adventure.
the crunching. That was terrible. No, it was more.
All right.
All right, so anyways.
My commentary is much more funny.
So we finally get to the hotel. Like, I don't know what time, and we went to bed
Super late.
super late, and so that brings us to Wednesday for our next hiking adventure, which was at Zion National Park. I think that's
Yep.
in Utah.
And this was on Hogshank's bucket list. This place called Angel's Landing.
Yeah,
And if you are on something where you can look it up, just look up some pictures right now. And
Yes.
Just imagine it.
stop, go look at a YouTube video of Angel's Landing. And what I want you to know is before I agreed to go on this trip, what I said to Hogshank was, I have one condition. I said, I don't want to go on any trails where I can fall to my death. Now, this Angel's Landing, its main feature is it's characterized by a 2-foot walkway with a chain that you hold on to and 1,000-foot drops on either side.
Jesus.
It's terrible. I saw the pictures myself.
Now,
You didn't go out there?
Okay.
No, I will tell you what
listen to the
happened. We'll tell you what happened. So before we left on the trip, Hogshank, he told me about all of this, right? He wanted to do this, and I was like, no way, I'm not doing it. I don't think I can let Ted do that. I said, but I will try to hike up to the base of it with you, because there's like a base, and then you get up to like where the chains are. You climb up there and go across it.
Yeah. There's an ascent, and then there's a ridgeline walk.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll try to get to the bottom of the ridgeline. That's as far as I think I can go. So we hiked up, and I didn't even make it there. So for anybody who knows what a switchback is, the trail goes in a series of S curves up the side of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can imagine like a ant farm, it's like that with like ramps going up on either side.
Yep. So the higher and higher we get, the drop-offs begin to get steeper and steeper. And I began to just, at some point, I became paralyzed with panic, and I couldn't go any further. Like, I feel like we made it.
We made it relatively high.
We made it relatively high. What's wrong, Space Unicorn? What do you want to say?
Nothing.
Are you surprised that I suffered a panic attack?
No.
So what's going on?
Nothing.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
All right, she's just staring at me. So anyway, so we get up there, and I had to say to Hogshank and Ted, I can't go any further. I'm done.
and so he wanted to keep going up, but I said, no,
Who's
we're not
he?
gonna.
Hogshank?
Hogshank. I said we're not gonna leave Sawtooth here.
Well, I
That's
said
fine.
to Hogshank, you can go. I'm fine. I will sit here and wait. Right? That's part of being somebody who has anxiety. Right? Is knowing my own limitations and then not raining on everybody else's parade.
Right.
So, but Ted and Hogshank decided not to go forward. So
That was nice of them.
yeah, chivalry. So we went back down and we finished the day in Zion with a series of beautiful but rather uneventful hikes.
Hikes around Emerald Creek. They were kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yep. So we get done there. We hop in our cars and
I don't know how you were driving anymore.
then we go to the Grand Canyon. Or did we stay there? No, we stayed there
on.
that night, right?
Was it another like really long drive? Because I remember. No, we stayed at Zion another night.
Yeah, you stayed in Zion.
So we got 2 breakfasts.
Yeah, we
there.
stayed at Zion 2
Oh,
nights.
he marks his time by the breakfast.
Oh, they had
that
these
he got.
burritos that Ted liked.
And then we when we were driving out of Zion, this is really interesting. There was a lot of like steep cliffs for your car to potentially fall off of, and so Sawtooth was incredibly surprised that we were actually driving on that in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I mean, and we were driving like at 70 miles an hour.
Wait, the night before?
The night before.
Oh, but you couldn't see?
Couldn't see it. I had no fucking idea.
Oh, God.
So anyways, we stayed there. We get up the next morning. We're off to the Grand Canyon, right? And as you'll find out, there have been lots of debate about how we should handle this Grand Canyon hike.
Yeah.
Because there's like tons of different hikes.
Yeah, and Space Unicorn, I can see you over there, and so we get to you quickly. We're gonna make this Grand Canyon story as short as possible, okay? Because you're gonna meet up with us in a few days, okay? So on the first day, so it was about another 4.5 hour drive from Zion to the Grand Canyon. So we
were talking.
So we only had half a day. We had half a day of hiking ahead of us. So we get in our cars, we drive to the Grand Canyon, and we came up with a plan for this hiking.
We're going to test the waters.
Yeah. So there's this really popular trail called the Bright Angel Trail. It has shade, it has water, and it takes you down from the south rim of the Grand Canyon to the Colorado River. So I posited that I wanted to, first of all, Hogshank wanted to do this longer 19-mile hike from a different point on the south rim and come up the Bright Angel Trail. I didn't want to do that. I said, there's no way I can handle a 19-mile hike. My opinion was it was going to be too hot. I didn't think we should do it. Hogshank kindly conceded to my alternative plan, which was on the Thursday we got there, with our half a day, we should do a test. So we wanted to hike about a quarter of the way down the Bright Angel Trail.
So 1.5 miles.
Yep. See how I did with the heights. Now this trail is 4 to 5 feet wide, right? At all points, and at all points it hugs the wall of the canyon.
Yeah, like where Sawtooth had a panic attack on Angel's Landing. It was so much worse on Bright Angel Trail.
What do you mean it was worse?
The drop-offs were steeper, they were farther.
Yeah, but
terrible.
The trail was wider, and I could get close to the wall, and I could just focus on that and not have to think about the drop-offs. So that's how I managed to get down. So on Thursday, I was relatively confident that I could do the Bright Angel Trail. So we hiked 1.5 miles down, came back up the 1.5 miles, and we were like, okay, the next morning we're going to hike down to the Colorado River.
And I think it's important to know what our goal setting at the moment was. It was to hike to Phantom Ranch, which we thought from this place called Indian Garden was only like another 2 miles or so, I think we believed. Yep.
So anyways, Hogshank had this app he was using called All Trails on his phone.
Murray's mom loves that.
Yeah. All Trails can go to fucking hell. Right. So we set off on our hike on Friday, right?
Maybe he just didn't know how to use it.
He knew how to use it. So it was the app was fucked. So we go down this trail, right? And we hike about 5. All in all, the hike was supposed to be 15 miles round trip. That's what we had calculated based on this All Trails.
So we hiked 6 down, I think.
We hike 6 down. We get to this place called Indian Garden, which is basically like an oasis at the bottom, right? Because there's all this water down there. It's where they're piping water from the top into, and there's trees and shade. And we see a sign down there. And sorry, I just want to back up. We left right at sunrise, got down there in relatively quick fashion, like 3 hours. But by the time we had gotten down there, it was getting hot already. It was like 90 degrees, just 3 hours after we started. It was getting like really hot. So we get to Indian Garden and we start seeing these signs basically saying, do not attempt to hike to the river from the rim in a day and go back. You will die. Like there's signs that say that.
Literally.
You stand a really good chance of dying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Hogshank sees this and he's like, well, let's try.
Sounds reasonable.
Right, but then we see a sign saying that the river is another 4 miles away, which would have added like 8 miles onto our round trip.
Right.
Right, and I might have the mileages off a little bit, but that's the basic idea. It was some factor of miles longer than we had anticipated.
Right.
I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I really don't know. I'm really getting worried. It's getting hot. And this wasn't even during the heat wave. This was before the heat wave.
Right.
So we decided to go ahead a little bit and just check it out. So we're going. We see another sign of a person on their hands and knees vomiting water, and their back is bright red. And it's like, seriously, turn back.
Right.
Don't attempt this. And when I'm standing there, then all of a sudden, coming down the trail is what appears to be a woman dressed in like 1950s ranger attire. She's like, hello. She had this like really kind of calm, almost like mystical demeanor to her.
Here comes the music.
Right? She's like, she goes, hello, where are you all going?
Is that how she sounded?
Kinda. Just a little louder.
And I was like, oh, we're just hiking down to the river and back. And she stops, tilts her head a little bit, looks up at the sun. She gets this really sad look on her face.
That did happen.
And she goes, oh boy. She goes, I'm not sure I would recommend that. She goes, it's going to get really hot.
And also they say they do like 1 to 2 rescues a week of people like us who try and attempt the same thing.
Do you think she just took one look at you guys and was like, nope?
And then she told us, like Ted said, she said, we've done several evacuations already. She said, and if you do attempt this, I highly recommend that you spend the night or hike out during the dark. Right? And then we're like, okay, thanks. And she said, good luck. And she just wandered off into the brush.
She did say good luck. It was pretty cryptic.
Yeah, and she just wanders off into the brush, and we never see her again. And we're all standing there, and we literally were like, what just happened? Was that a ghost? And then this couple comes up the trail, like they're all sweaty, they're looking tired, they're filthy. And I'm like, where are you all coming from?
The river.
And they go, oh yeah, we're coming up from the river. And Hogshank's like, yeah, how far is it? They're like, oh, miles, easily miles.
Yeah, because at this point we had some concerns because we had been seeing signs to Phantom Ranch 5 miles and we thought it was like 2.
Yeah, and all trails kept telling Hogshank it was like 1.5 miles, and he thought he could do this. Anyways, they're like, no, it's too hot already. Right, and one of the things that the ghost, we came to think of the ranger, who was probably a ghost, is the canyon ghost. One of the things the canyon ghost was telling us is that it used the canyon ghost used its temperature gun and measured the temperature on the rocks to be 180 degrees. And so the couple...
That's pretty hot.
And then the couple is like, the rocks are really hot. They're like, I wouldn't do it. They're like, go back now. That's what the couple said to us.
What time did they leave in the morning?
I have no idea. We don't know. And anyways, so at that point, I said to Hogshank, I was like, look, I can't take Ted down there. I can't risk it. So I said to Hogshank, look, I love you. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. But I was like, I don't want you to die. I said, Ted and I can't join you. You're going to be alone. And anyway, so we thought some more about it. And then we all made the decision together to go back up. So,
Good decision.
So that's what we did. And
where's the cheer button? Yay.
Hold on. Go ahead, Ted. You can hit it right here. So, and then we had to hike the 6 miles back out.
And don't forget that Hogshank left their backpack at Indian
Garden.
Oh,
right. So we stopped at Indian Garden to rehydrate and get water for the hike back up. And, we're all walking we at least walked a mile in this heat on the sand. This part is like really sandy, and Hogshank goes to take a drink out of his Camelback, and it's not there. And
How did he not realize you know?
Yeah, no idea.
yeah.
Anyways, I ran all the way back.
So Ted ran 2 miles to retrieve the backpack.
It wasn't 2 miles. It was like half a mile.
So anyways, we started hiking. We started hiking back up, and it was a really difficult climb out of the canyon. My feet were hurting me, and everybody was struggling by the end except Ted. I could barely walk. My feet were so bad. And that was it. That was the end of the hike. We were all glad we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're alive, and
yes.
you live to tell the tale.
Yes, and we agreed that at some point we're going to attempt it again.
You are?
Yeah. Maybe in a few years, so.
Maybe not in June.
Maybe
not in June. So we should probably do it earlier in the year. So that was it. And then I think we spent the night there in the Grand Canyon. We woke up the next morning. We parted ways. Hogshank parted ways with Ted and I. And then Ted and I drove out to Las Vegas to begin our Las Vegas journey. And so Ted and I spent Saturday in Las Vegas. We stayed in the Luxor Hotel. Anything you want to say about that, Ted?
it's smoky. Very smoky.
It's an old property.
Well, I'm saying there's a lot of smoke in it, like tobacco smoke.
Yes.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Luxor Hotel is like that pyramid shaped thing.
It's the Egyptian themed property.
Yeah, so that was Saturday. Ted and I stayed there. And at that point, I began to get distressed by the blisters on my feet from the previous day's hike. God. They were terrible, so I had to do surgery. So Ted and I went to a CVS. We got needles.
This wasn't smart.
We got needles, Band-Aids, Epsom salts.
Betadine.
Betadine
Iodine.
solution. And I surgically lanced all of my blisters.
I don't think that was the right choice either.
Anyways, I do.
Too late. It happened.
Because it allowed me to walk after that.
Oh, wait, did we mention the dead body?
Oh, yeah.
We saw a dead body.
Yeah, we did see it. That was on Sunday morning, though. We saw, right when we went to go meet...
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, so anyway, so Ted and I get up to go pick up Stomping Jen the next morning, or go get coffee, because Stomping Jen and Space Unicorn were flying in Sunday to meet us.
That's right.
We see a paramedic going up.
Yeah, so I see this, on my way to get the coffee, I see this paramedic very calmly entering the elevator, not concerned at all. I was like, that's the calmest paramedic I've ever seen. And then wouldn't you know it, as Ted and I were leaving to go get Stomping Jen, there was a corpse in a body bag on a gurney.
Being wheeled out.
Hey, somebody's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or an overdose, who knows?
And then we saw Space Unicorn and Stomping Jen at the airport.
And there was some running.
And Space Unicorn, she saw me from a distance.
And she ran.
She ran over to me and gave me a big hug. Anything you want to say, Space Unicorn, about our reunion? Please, talk into the microphone and tell me about our reunion at the airport. Go ahead. Go ahead, Space Unicorn, please. Our audience wants to hear from you. This is the part where you're going to talk about what happened in Vegas. It doesn't have to stay there. Now tell us.
Nothing happened.
You ran over and gave me a big hug.
Yeah, that was it.
It did happen.
It did happen. Despite Space Unicorn clamming up now, she was excited to see me, I think.
And her brother.
Yeah. Now, Space Unicorn, what were your initial impressions of Las Vegas?
I thought it would be very like crowded, like the strip would be like all together and cramped up, and there would be a lot more like lights and people.
There were all of those things.
No, but the strip wasn't like together. It was kind of like laid out.
It was spread out, right?
Yeah, and I
You just
expected
lay
it
out
to
in a
be all
strip?
cramped out. And for some reason, I didn't expect there to be like a lot of smoking there and
Yes.
stuff. So that was definitely something that I didn't expect. So
Yeah, we could talk about that for a second.
All right, go ahead, Stompy Jen.
So-
Facilitate for us, please.
I was under the false impression that people didn't really smoke anymore, and I was proved
What?
incorrect because maybe that's true-ish in Massachusetts, although they sell cigarettes. I know people smoke them, but you don't really see it. But in Vegas, it's everywhere. You
Specifically
cannot
on the gambling
escape it.
floor.
Yeah, and later we did find a hotel and casino that doesn't allow smoking.
God, that was a breath of fresh air.
And if we ever go back, we will
Yes.
stay there. And that is the Park MGM.
Yes, completely smoke-free.
Yeah, so next time,
Park MGM.
and I think I would have had a better feeling about Vegas if I didn't have to be as exposed to the cigarette
Yeah, it
smoke.
was terrible.
Um,
It was
Drunk people
horrible.
everywhere.
yeah, so, all right, so we all meet up. We were reunited, and it felt so good, right, Stomping Jen?
And it feels so good.
What did we do Sunday? We went somewhere that evening.
Let's see. I made some reservations at Pizza Rock, which was down by the Fremont Street
That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
experience.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We did so much.
they had very good green beans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did have green beans at the pizza. But they had like every style pizza you can think of. But we couldn't eat so much pizza. So we only got 2 different styles. So one style we got was Italian margarita style.
One of the pizzas was a lot smaller than the other, so I'm glad we got the other pizza.
And the other style we got was
A meat.
Chicago cracker thin, which I've never had before. So that was
It was
pretty
good.
cool.
It was filled with meat.
Yeah, and it had ricotta on it.
And then we had to get what? Space Unicorn to supplement our meal.
Green beans.
No, we got
Well, that was
French
part of the
fries.
appetizer. We got fried green beans, but we got French fries too, right?
We did.
And mostly you and I ate those,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And then where did we go in the evening, Stomping
So,
Jen?
but first we checked out the Fremont Street experience, which
What was
was
that?
really a trip. It was like this canopy covered, basically
TV.
like a boardwalk in the desert is the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
It felt like a boardwalk, but again, people were smoking everywhere and people were ziplining over your head, and they
This is the turkey in a bucket song.
Yeah.
turkey in
That's
the
sort of how it
straw.
felt to me.
it was a little it was the Fremont Street experience, but we walked around a little bit and we found
Yeah.
the arts district, I think, the container park, and we found some murals and some street art.
Yeah, the other thing I will mention about street life in Vegas is pot is legal there. And everywhere you go, you smell pot. You are walking through
Advertisements for it.
clouds of pot.
I don't think
People are just
I must
freely
be oblivious because I don't.
people are freely smoking pot everywhere all over Las Vegas. Yes, Space Unicorn.
Continue the music, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we also walked past the famous Heart Attack Cafe, I think.
Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah.
Heart Attack Grill, yeah. And basically, what it is there's a giant scale up front,
Yeah.
and there are a bunch of obese people in hospital gowns eating giant burgers. And their marketing thing is that people over 350 pounds can eat free.
That sounds like a deal to me.
And people have actually gotten heart attacks there from eating too much.
That's scary. Not the healthiest food, right?
No,
Right.
I don't
We
think.
should have ate there.
I don't think.
No.
No, we shouldn't have.
Why?
I don't think burgers, giant burgers, and grilled cheeses and French fries.
We didn't even look at their menu. You don't even know what they
Says
had.
the person who ordered French fries for dinner that evening.
Who knows? Maybe the heart attack grill French fries were like 15 pounds.
I don't think that French fries are healthy in any context.
I make
All right,
healthy
so
French fries.
Stomping Jen, after the
Yes.
Fremont Street experience,
Yes.
what did we do?
We got some ice cream.
Okay.
And then we went to the Neon Museum.
Then we went to the Neon Museum.
Yeah, tell us about the Neon Museum Stomping.
This
Jen.
was pretty cool. So somebody clued me in and said to try to go at around sunset so that when you first go, the sun is just setting. And then once the sun sets, then everything is lit up.
Does the sun set at sunset? Could you clear that up again for us?
The sun is setting at sunset.
Please continue.
Anyways, the Neon Museum is pretty much what it sounds like. They are a nonprofit that collects and tries to salvage old signs that come off of properties or, businesses in and around Vegas.
It was pretty cool.
And it was pretty cool.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun.
That was pretty awesome. Space Unicorn, what did you think about the Neon Museum?
She thought it was really cool.
Do you want to leave Space Unicorn?
She doesn't want to be part of our vacation spectacular.
I thought she would be excited to contribute to the parts that she was present at.
I don't want to talk about the Neon Museum.
Okay, well, just say that, okay?
That wasn't very exciting for me. I didn't have the greatest time. I mostly sat on a bench.
Why didn't you have a great time?
I don't find excitement in
except that's
tubes.
what you were looking forward to.
It wasn't
in Vegas was the neon signs and the lights.
No,
there was a really cool.
I was
sign
looking
there.
forward to the Hello Kitty Cafe.
All right, well, we'll talk about that. We did that the next day, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Stomping Jen, did we do that the next day?
I think so.
I want to talk about one of the signs I found really
ahead.
cool at the Neon Museum.
Go ahead.
There was a giant Hard Rock Cafe, one of those signs that they tore out of one of the places, and it looked really cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. It was very tall. It was a giant guitar
Very impressive.
with many lights.
That was cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to what? Monday, right?
That was
the following Monday.
Sunday. Yeah, we finally went back to the hotel and we crashed.
Yeah, so we went back, we slept, had a pretty good night's sleep, I think. Then the next day, we did something you had been really looking forward to, Stomping Jen, right?
This was the main impetus for me to want to go to Vegas.
We went to this place called Area 15. What's Area 15?
It's like a giant warehouse that they've converted into a art venue with multiple different art experiences and restaurants and stores.
But the art experiences were interactive.
Well, some of them are. I don't think all of them were.
Anyway,
we didn't see.
I said some.
We were there.
So keep telling us about Area 15, please.
All right. So the main reason that I wanted to go was that there was an exhibit by an art collective called Meow Wolf. And Meow Wolf had spent about 3 years building this interactive art exhibit called Omega Mart, which I had started seeing
ads for
on
Facebook,
on my socials, and they were super ridiculous.
They did look pretty cool.
And because I'm like really interested in a lot of like surrealist art, I guess I was a target market for it. So I was laughing about it with a bunch of friends, but then I actually did some research and found out it was a real thing.
Yeah. I thought it was completely fake, and I was like, oh, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty. If you can look up some of the ads for it. They have some really cool.
So
videos for it.
Summarize Omega Mart for us. What happened there? What was it?
How can you summarize Omega Mart?
Oh my God.
So Omega Mart is basically set up when you enter. It's supposed to look like a supermarket, but when you look at the items for sale, they're not quite right.
A little wacky.
They're a little strange, a little surreal. The other thing that they give you when you first enter is a card. It's an RFID card that you can use throughout the store. And so they don't really give you a lot of information when you when you're doing any kind of research. So you don't really quite know what all this is all about. And I think Sawtooth, you went in blind on purpose, right?
I did. And hold on a second. Space Unicorn, are you telling us you want to leave? Talking to the microphone.
Or do you want to contribute to the Omega Mart story?
It's okay if you want to leave. Just tell me now.
We want you to stay.
Talk into the microphone. Do you want to leave?
Kind of.
Okay, say goodbye to everyone and go.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, Space Unicorn. Thanks for joining us. Okay, see ya.
Goodbye.
Okay, what else, Stomping Jen, about Omega Mart?
I thought you wanted to talk about Hello Kitty Cafe.
We will.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Omega Mart first.
Are you done talking about Meow Wolf and...
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay, finish.
Omega Mart. They
Omega
give you these
Mart.
little cards, and they tell you go boop everything. One
Right.
of the
They tell you to
functions of the card.
Go boop everything. So
You two were way into this whole
well, we
thing.
got way into it. 'Cause what happened was,
You want me to talk?
go ahead.
All right. Anyways, so they give you these ID cards, and they tell you go boop everything, and that means just scan it on things. And they sometimes do things, and sometimes they do other things. And I guess there's sort of a story that you're meant to be following that can branch off into different paths. And while you're doing this, there's art everywhere, and it looks very, very cool.
So okay. So the other part of it is that there are certain points along the back, what you think is the back wall of the supermarket, upon which you can actually enter into
The
a
factory.
Go ahead. I don't know what that noise is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
into the main part of the exhibit, which is not a supermarket and is in fact the back end. So it's supposed to be like the back end of the corporation that runs the supermarket. And there's, as Ted mentioned, there is a whole storyline. There's multiple storylines that you can follow along with. But they don't tell you that. You're supposed to like figure it out as you go, right? So that's the whole concept. It's an immersive, interactive art exhibit. And so I don't want to give away too much, but it was super fun. It took us about an hour and a half to walk through and figure everything out. And then Ted and I were trying to do the storyline together. But we needed a lot more time. And
Can I tell you my perspective on this? I don't
Yeah.
care about the storyline. I don't care about the booping cards. Like, the thing that was awesome to me is it was full of like these secret passages
Yeah.
and like all these surrealistic products.
right,
Like they had mammoth chunks
right.
and just different like,
Plausible deniability. Was it laundry detergent?
yeah, just these really different weird products like a whale-based deodorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Anyways,
pretty cool.
Like I like that aspect of it. I like just like wandering through it all and discovering secret passages. It's like it fulfilled something in my nascent childhood mind. You know those dreams you have where you're wandering through a place and you find new rooms and
I find
corridors.
this terrifying.
Well, that's what this place was like.
Well, in dreams, I generally
Yeah.
do.
Oh, so Meow Wolf, this is not their first installation. I think their very first installation is a house that they designed in New Mexico. That sort of is also like the same kind of concept. It's an immersive, interactive art exhibit.
Oh, we should have gone there.
So these people, I don't know what to call it. What kind of
It's a
art?
collective.
Well,
So they started out as an art collective.
I'm not talking about the organization. I mean the type of art they do.
Oh.
It's not performance art. It's like this immersive, experiential type of art.
Yeah.
And honestly, too, that was the moment where I said to myself, okay, the pandemic is over because we were jammed in this fucking supermarket replica with all of these people, most of whom were not wearing masks. And you just, at this point, I'd become so desensitized. I was just like, okay, the pandemic's over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it was amazing.
Yeah, so-
And if you're ever in a city where they have an installation, go check it out. I don't know where else. I think they're building more, but I'm not sure.
more Omega Marts.
No, just more installations.
Anyways, check that out. That was Meow Wolf's Omega Mart at Area 15 in Las Vegas. And then you mentioned this earlier. That evening, we went to the Hello Kitty Cafe. Talk about that.
Hello Kitty Cafe.
You and
yeah.
Space Unicorn had been looking forward to this.
Yes, I've loved Hello Kitty since I was little.
Yeah.
And when Space Unicorn wasn't, before she was born, I had decked out her nursery in Hello Kitty and Paul Frank stuff.
Yep. So you
Merch.
love Hello Kitty. What was the cart like? The
It
food
was
truck?
just like a little food truck. I mean, they mostly
it was a storage unit they converted.
it's it was super cute. They had cupcakes and donuts and cookies and brownies, and they're all like decorated out into different Sanrio characters held from the Hello Kitty world. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was super cute.
We got a Thai iced tea, a cupcake, which we promptly destroyed.
Yeah.
And what did you get?
I got a brownie.
Oh yeah, you got a
Choco
brownie.
Cat brownie.
Yep, and then Sawtooth met us there.
Yeah.
Yep, I met you there. So, all right, that was Monday. Another full day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tuesday, I thought this would be the thing you were looking forward to the most. Was our trip to where, Stomping Jen?
Oh my God. Well,
Why don't you talk about this?
So,
You narrate this portion. I'll be right back.
where are you going?
I'm going to go urinate.
But now you're not going to get to hear
I
it.
lived it. I don't need to hear it. Go ahead.
Oh, geez.
You and Ted discuss. I will be right back.
You're promoted to host, and I'm co-host now.
So when we planned this whole trip out, like I had said to Sawtooth months and months and months ago, I said, if we were going to go anywhere, I wanted to go to Meow Wolf. And he thought I was crazy. And then serendipitously, it ended up into this whole trip. But we had decided that we would meet out in Vegas and we'd kind of do stuff around Vegas. And
It was hot.
Space Unicorn said she really wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. So I said, well, if we're going to go to Arizona, then I'd love to go to Jerome. And not thinking anybody would be like, okay, we're going to go to Jerome. Now, what is in Jerome?
Pussifer's like official store.
Right. So this is a total nerd tour
And winery. Okay.
that I convinced everybody that we needed to do. So on the side of a mountain in Arizona, in Jerome, in the
Literally
Verde
on the side
Valley,
of the mountain.
literally on the side of the valley, is a store that is owned by Maynard James Keenan. It's called Pussifer the Store.
Yep.
I've ordered from it over the years and collected merchandise and whatnot.
Finally went there.
You were in heaven.
And so we went to the store. And so, what's really interesting, why don't you talk about what you thought was interesting about Jerome and, Maynard's influence in that region?
Yeah, I mean, so I want to frame this in a way that's fair to Maynard. So Stomping Jen probably mentioned he's the lead singer of these two like wildly popular bands.
Oh, three.
Three.
Well, I don't know if...
No. Tool,
A Perfect Circle.
A Perfect Circle, Pussifer.
And Pussifer is his solo, like his...
And Maynard... And James Maynard Keenan, he's an interesting guy. He was in the Army for 4 years before he was in Tool. So he's a veteran. He's somebody who I think, despite having achieved great success in life as a musician and insane amounts of fame, is somebody who I think appreciates his privacy. And I think he's somebody who appreciates being able to live life as a normal person, right? And you could not pick a better place on earth to
Get some privacy.
get some privacy and like live apart from the rat race than Jerome, Arizona.
Like everything outside Jerome, like for miles, is just nothing until the next city.
Yeah. So Maynard, I think he moved there. He started this winery, and that's been going for a long time now. And it's an established, successful winery. And he has this business, and he opened this store, Pussifer the Store, where
It's a record store.
It's a record store. Yep, and he sells merchandise related to the band there.
All the bands, I think, but mostly Pussifer.
And I think
He also has a barber store in there called
Yes.
Barber
Gelato too.
And
Yeah.
he makes gelato.
And something interesting about
and
the
so despite
winery-
being invited to, I'm not being allowed to make my point,
I'm just-
which was that I think his presence there has injected a lot of economic vitality into the area, right? Jerome and the neighboring town, what is it? Cottonwood.
Yeah.
And so you very much feel that. There's like a buzz. There's a lot of people like us who were there. We're not drinkers, so we weren't there for the wine, but there are a lot of people there who are drawn there because of the music and wanted to get merchandise from the store and just see the place, right?
Yeah.
And maybe even catch a Maynard sighting.
Right.
I was on the lookout
Yeah.
for him.
Something really interesting about the winery, I thought, was it's not like associated with any of his established brands like Tool, Perfect Circle, or Pussifer.
No, it's his own thing.
And I thought that was really, I thought that was really cool because it kind of keeps his brand diverse,
But like it all kind of ties into one another. So the name of his vineyard is Merkin Vineyards, and you can look up what Merkin means.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk about your brief brush with fame.
And so he has a restaurant also in Cottonwood called
Right.
Osteria that
Yeah.
he uses. He also like raises like ducks and like all sorts of other things. So he has like a farm to table restaurant that's in Cottonwood.
Right. So let's go back to Jerome.
Oh, sorry.
Our visit to Jerome. So we spent some time walking around the city of Jerome, which is like this Italian mountainside town. It's like literally built into the side of this mountain.
Right.
And Stomping Jen and Space Unicorn were in the Pussifer's store wearing their Meow Wolf merchandise, t-shirts and whatnot. And a woman at the store started asking Stomping Jen about, I think, Space Unicorn's t-shirt, or she was talking to Space Unicorn about Meow Wolf in the Omega Mart thing. And why don't you tell us, Stomping Jen, who you think that person was?
Oh, no, I know it was.
Okay, well, tell us.
It was Maynard's wife.
Yeah, so you got to talk to his wife.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's very...
You didn't spaz
nerdy.
out.
I didn't spaz out. It was only two seconds.
You kept it together. Right? And then we got some gelato in Maynard's Pussifer store. That was cool.
Yeah, good gelato.
Right?
Yeah.
We went to Caduceus Cellars, which is his little
Wine shop.
wine shop.
One of Jerome's main themes is that it's supposed to be like a ghost town.
Well, it was an old mining town.
Yeah.
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 And we know somebody, I think, whose grandfather's bones are likely in the bottom of a mine shaft somewhere in Jerome. That's a long story. Maybe we can get them on to talk about it at some point. But
Yeah.
be that as it may, that was our experience in Jerome, right?
Yeah. Jerome Cottonwood.
No James Maynard Keenan sighting. What's his name?
Maynard. You're right. His real name is James.
So why are you correcting me?
Because he doesn't go by, he goes by Maynard James Keenan.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. All right. And then we hopped in our car and we went where?
Sedona.
No, Cottonwood.
We already went to Cottonwood. We went to
stayed there.
Osteria.
We stayed in Cottonwood and watched the sunset.
And we didn't do that at all.
No, we did not do that at
We
all.
ate at Osteria.
All right. So after Jerome, we went to Cottonwood. We
Right.
ate it.
Osteria, his farm to table restaurant.
Yep. That was good.
It was delicious.
And then we drove to Sedona.
And then we drove to Sedona.
Let's talk about Sedona. What did we do in Sedona?
First of all, Sedona
Oh yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah. Can we talk about Sedona for a minute?
Of course we
It is.
can.
It is physically beautiful. But where did we go for dinner that night?
Whole Foods.
Right. So I'm going to play this.
What is this?
This is an old bumper.
It's the assholes who shop at Whole Foods.
And it was us.
It wasn't us.
There were definitely some of those essential oils people.
Yeah. So we were at Whole Foods. So glad I got an opportunity
to play your
bumper.
bumper.
play that. Yeah. It was definitely filled with these like spiritual types. Like there are people walking around with bottles of alkaline water, wearing flowing robes.
Yeah, one thing about this place is there's lots of gemstone stores.
Yeah, flowing robes. They were carrying salt, some kinds of salts.
Oh my God.
Kombucha. They were walking around with
Okay, we got
kombucha.
Yeah, you guys got kombucha.
They were also picking up like incense and Ted said, essential oils of some
All
kind.
right.
It just was very annoying. All we wanted to do was go into the hot bar and get some food
The hot bar.
and get some pizza or something to eat because we've been driving all day. But we had to deal with all of these people on spiritual quests within Whole Foods.
We didn't really have to deal with them.
I think you're exaggerating this part a little bit.
No.
We did go to Sedona, and it was gorgeous. And we stayed at a very nice hotel. And we went out and saw the sunset.
Yep.
But it was very hazy.
Yeah.
It was pretty hazy. I think there was a film crew there, too.
There was a
There
film
was some
crew.
people filming some stuff in this canyon we went to.
Yeah, and it was very windy.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time in Sedona, right?
Right, because as I mentioned before, the reason we decided to go to Arizona was so that Space Unicorn could go see the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. All right. So we woke up the next day and boy, another 7 hours of driving. We drove from Sedona to the Grand Canyon, which was 2.5 hours.
But where did we drive through? The Coconino?
Cocachina.
We don't know how to say it, people.
The Cocoa Puff National Forest. Right?
We saw a forest fire, I think.
Oh my God. It was super pretty, though. I definitely want to go back and check that out.
Right. We drove through Cocoa Puff National Forest. We saw
What appeared to be a forest fire.
a forest fire, and we went to the Grand Canyon again.
Mm-hmm. We could have went to a different part of the Grand Canyon.
It was weird being back, I have to say.
So we spent a few hours there, and this time my anxiety was like fully triggered.
Yeah, you were like...
That was
you
a
couldn't
mess.
stand being there.
This is probably
No.
because Hogshank had got me a book called Death in the Grand Canyon, and I was reiterating how close to death we actually were if we had kept hiking.
So to be realistic, we spent most of that visit at the Grand Canyon at the gift shop and getting ice cream
Yeah.
and not really doing very much else.
But I was telling Sawtooth about where people had died, and he was standing near the wall behind the El Tovar, which is where many people have actually fallen off.
And what's her name?
Who?
Space Unicorn.
Space Unicorn.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, that was our great Grand Canyon adventure. It was short-lived. It's okay. We'll go back another day and we'll see more of the Grand Canyon because it's super grand and we only saw a little tiny
it was
portion
pretty
of it.
grand. Yeah. I mean, we showed them Bright Angel. We showed both Space Unicorn and Stomping Jen Bright Angel Trailhead, and they were incredibly surprised that Sawtooth had actually gone down it.
Yeah. Anyways, so then we drove back to Vegas after realizing we could have spent another night out in Arizona if we had planned things out a little differently. But anyways, this was the itinerary that we had chosen.
Yep.
That would have been preferable, but hey, you live, you learn.
Right. Now we know.
Right.
So, but we raced back to Vegas because of where were we going that night?
Oh, Hell's Kitchen.
It's raw.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, and they served
Where's
us
the
mediocre
lamb
food.
sauce?
This was another Space Unicorn Sawtooth
Goal. on
bucket
the-
list
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
And they served us mediocre food for ridiculous prices.
Yeah, which,
No, it was an experience.
it was fun for
Yeah.
what it
Got
was.
the beef Wellington.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was okay. It was fun.
It was okay.
We're big fans of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
It was fun to go there
Yeah.
and eat the food from the show. So,
Yeah, it was fun.
all right, then Thursday was a kind of a lazy day, right?
lazy.
Our second to last day in Vegas.
So we also neglected to talk about the heat wave that was going on because
when did that descend upon us?
Literally as soon as they got here. 'Cause
immediately
it was
when
cool.
we got there.
It was cool when we were at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, so that Wednesday, that night, the day before this day that we're going to talk about, it was literally like 120
Yeah.
as we were driving back to Vegas.
In the shade.
It was hot.
And meanwhile, we had this 4.5 hour drive through the fucking desert, and I was terrified of breaking down.
Yeah.
That would have been very bad.
And we saw a bunch of cars broken down, just
Yeah.
like in the desert.
Probably their engines overheated.
Yeah, but our trusty Camry took us through the desert with no issues.
Yep. We put, for a rental car, we put a ridiculous amount of miles on that.
Yeah. So Sawtooth in the morning said, I do not want to drive anywhere.
Yeah.
Understandably.
And so I said, okay. Well, we had discovered over the course of these couple of days we were in Vegas that there actually was a bunch of ways you could get through some of the resorts and casinos without actually going outside.
Yeah, you can hotel hop.
And so we decided to hotel hop down the strip a little bit and see how far we could get.
Yeah, we walked around. We went through a bunch of the hotels. So we went through the Excalibur, the New York.
Yeah, we went to Hershey's World, which is
M&M store.
connected to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually when we discovered Park MGM, the smoke-free hotel.
Right. We ate at this beautiful, it was like an Italian street fair type food court. It was really nice actually.
Yeah.
That was really nice at Park MGM.
So was that our last day there?
That was our last full day. I made everybody go over to the Hard Rock because when I was a kid and we used to travel across the country, we would go to all the Hard Rocks.
I've got to admit, it was pretty cool.
It was fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And we went to this Mexican restaurant later that night.
Yep.
Yeah. And we went back to the Hello Kitty Cafe.
We did do that again. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then that night we saw a Vegas show.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was great. The ventriloquist.
What was it called?
Terry Fader. He won.
Fader.
He won America's Got Talent at some point with some show.
The very first season he won.
Yeah. Now I will admit. So we neglected to mention that my dad had met us out in Vegas, and so we didn't do everything with them. But he had insisted that we do a show, and so this was the show he wanted to go to, and I was like, "All right, fine, whatever, I don't care." So I never in a million years would have seen an ad for this performance and been like, "Oh, we have to go see this," but.
It was really
awesome.
funny.
It was really funny. We were all cracking up.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
It was really good. This guy does 200 voices.
And
he's super talented.
It's amazing. Yeah. He sings through a basically unopened mouth kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be a good close to our Vegas experience, I think.
Yep. And then there was the long flight back.
Yeah,
At least it was during the day though.
On United, which is trash,
compared to JetBlue.
The next day on Saturday or Friday, we flew home, and I got to say, I ended up sitting next to this asshole woman.
Oh my god!
She
was eating her fries.
This vapid human being who had this giant container of fries and chicken that she was eating.
Where did she get that from?
I don't know.
She would open the container, eat 3 fries, and put it back, and then 10 minutes
and then when we got off
she was babbling to somebody about going out to eat.
Yeah, and then when we got off the plane, she threw the fucking container of fries and chicken on the floor, and just got up and walked off the plane.
Yeah,
not
total fucking trash human. Pardon my language.
You just put a downer on.
Yeah, sorry. Well, that's how my flight ended.
Oh, but hold on.
Having to step over her discarded fries and chicken.
That's true. That was not fun. But on the bright side, we did get to see some beautiful scenery flying out from Vegas, because before, me and Sawtooth, when we'd been flying in, it was the middle of the night. We had no idea when we were flying over the Grand Canyon. Right. We had no idea.
God bless you, Ted, for seeing the positive.
All right, so let's talk about what was our favorite thing.
Well, hold on. Then we slept, and that Saturday night we had to sleep at your brother's house.
Yeah.
And inexplicably, all night long, his neighbors were going out to their cars,
Let's not talk
starting
about-
them.
It's not part of our vacation experience.
It was part of our vacation. They were starting their cars, revving their engines all
Well,
night long.
I don't know what that was all about.
And so I got no sleep.
I have to say, though, we went to a Jersey diner after we got off the plane.
Yeah.
Ugh, I've never been
That was-
so
that
hungry.
That was good.
That was completely satisfying.
Right. And then to wrap it all up, Saturday, we got in our car and we drove home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
all right. You guys had 2 weeks to choose from. So, why don't you guys tell us your favorite thing
Bryce
about
Canyon.
your first week?
Probably Bryce Canyon.
Bryce Canyon.
Yep.
The hike there was beautiful. The weather was perfect. I didn't end up almost dying.
All right.
Yeah.
No panic attack.
So
My feet didn't hurt.
the reason I love Bryce Canyon so much was because it had some. I mean, I'd say the Grand Canyon has equally amazing views as along with Bryce Canyon, but Bryce Canyon's scenery is constantly changing because it's not a huge environment. It's not like you're stuck with the same view for 8 hours. So it was also the slopes were a little less steep, and it was just very nice. I would recommend going to Bryce Canyon.
Okay.
What about you, Stomping Jen?
What about the second week? I want to hear about the second week. What was your favorite experience in the Vegas portion of the trip?
Vegas. Probably the Neon Museum.
That was fun.
Yeah. Meow Wolf was a little overwhelming for me. Like I mentioned, I'm not like you and Ted. I don't like to get immersed in that kind of stuff for too long. I was done with it about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, you were done with it, and you looked at me, and I was like, "You're done?"
Come on, I was very accommodating.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I gave you your space. I told you not to rush. Don't worry about me. I'll just be standing over here in the corner. It's all fine. It was fine.
Yeah, Meow Wolf was really cool.
Yeah,
I agree.
You guys were done when you were done, right?
yeah,
On your own accord?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
So like a good note to end off on.
What about you? You're no longer co-host. What about you,
Aw.
Stomping Jen?
What was my favorite thing about the trip?
Yeah.
So this is gonna sound super corny, but just being out there with you guys, because I have so many good memories
do
of
you have any bumpers?
being out there with my family. So I was
Yeah.
glad that I was able to be out there.
You went
with
out there with
guys.
your family a lot?
I mean, we had been out there. I think I mentioned.
Why is that so sad?
that, we used to
Yeah.
go on these big road trips, and we used to go all over the country. And so to be able to do a little slice of that with my family.
What did it
was
mean to
really
be
nice.
there with your family?
I just told you.
Yeah. What did it feel like, though?
You're not going to get me to cry. Don't even try.
Yeah.
Love you.
Oh,
It meant the world to me
Oh, stop it.
to be there with my life partner,
Oh my God.
my children.
Oh, that's great.
You know
What
what was
did I
the
keep
was the best
saying?
moment for me?
What? Seeing me?
When I was driving, when we were leaving Vegas, and I called you to tell you about how in awe I was of the landscape
Yeah.
and how happy you were.
I was so happy.
That was my happiest moment.
You're really trying to make me cry.
It's working. She's crying. I did it, Ted.
Stop it.
That's true.
I have,
It was so beautiful.
wait, how many years have I told you we need to go out there?
A long
A
time.
long time.
And we finally did it.
And we finally
What a
did
beautiful
it.
experience.
I was just happy to be there.
I saw things I never thought I would see or experience.
Stop it. You're the worst.
All right.
What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's just, there's something about being able to recreate like fun memory experiences that you
Yeah.
had with your primary family
Yeah.
and do it with the family that you've created.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. It was a good trip, and we needed it after that pandemic.
Oh my God.
A lot of this came up with after we got vaccinated, and we were just like, you know what? We just we have to do something.
Yeah, fuck it. We're going to Vegas.
We gotta go. We gotta go live.
The sleep deprivation was bad, and there were some moments that weren't so great. But it was amazing to get out of the house and like go somewhere and do something.
Yeah.
And Hogshank had wanted to do this thing for his birthday, and I was like, so we put it all together. It was amazing. And I feel fortunate that we could do it, and it all worked out.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the summer 2021 vacation spectacular.
It was
Stomping
great.
Jen.
It was great.
Oh.
Anything else we want to say in closing?
No.
Ted, anything you want to say?
Tarantulas.
Watch out.
Yep,
Watch out for pine ranchulas.
Pine ranchula.
Tarantula cone.
All right. Well, we have to end the show with our traditional bye now. So, Stomping Jen, you'll go.
Bye now.
Ted, go ahead.
Bye now.
All right, folks. Well, we hope you enjoyed hearing about our vacation.
Yeah,
we love
you guys go out into the world now. Create your own memories.
Get your asses out there. Be safe. Go live and do some fun stuff, okay?
All right.
All right, bye now.
This world of ours, ever growing smaller, must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate. Those who have freedom will understand also its heavy responsibility. That all who are insensitive to the needs of others will learn charity, and that the sources, scourges of poverty, disease, and ignorance will be made disappear from the earth. And that in the goodness of time, all peoples will come to live together in a peace guaranteed by the binding force of mutual respect and love. I shall never cease to do what little I can to help the world advance along that road.